let's talk romance. Hi, I'm Isa, and I talk about anime, manga, and anything that my brain can come up with. Love, unresolved feelings, almost stepping on dog shit, and step-siblings. Love Me Love Me Not has all of this. Love Me Love Me Not has a special place in my heart. It's the first manga I ever bought back in 2020. And what drove me to it was its beautifully drawn cover and description on the back. I thought it was gonna be your normal love story with teenagers and love triangles, but I was right. But I was also wrong. For the majority of the first volume, I was hooked. We have our super shy, hopelessly romantic main character Yuna, who almost stops on dog poop, but this boy who reminds her of the prince she fell in love in her picture book saves her from stepping it, leaving her completely embarrassed. But because of this, she develops a little crush on him. Later on in the book, Yuna bumps into this girl who forgot her wallet at home, and she asks her if she can borrow some money, and Yuna, being her kind main character, she agrees to. Later, she finds out that this girl is her new neighbor, Akari. She then finds out that the boy who she falls for and ends up having a crush on is Akari's brother, Rio. The first volume talks about the duality of superficial love and traditional love, feeling deeper and emotional. And the first volume tells us that both ways are valid. You can fall in love with somebody superficially and then later fall in love for them, or you can go the traditional route. In this volume, Yuna and Rio have a really sweet conversation about confessing your feelings to the person you like. And Yuna tells him that she can confess her feelings to this person, but Rio rebuttals and says, it's not that you can, it's that you don't want to. And when I read that, I was stunned. I was like, he's right. We choose not to confess our feelings because we're scared to get hurt, and sometimes we should have, because it could have been something really pretty. They also talk about how it's healthy to confess your feelings even if you do get rejected, because rejection can lead to closure and you can move on, and also growth. Rio then tells her that unlike her, he can't tell his crush his true feelings. Then, because of a misunderstanding between Rio and Akari's mom, something is revealed to us that would have made me stop reading. It's revealed to us, the reader, and Yuna, that maybe the person he's referring to is his sister, Akari. Honestly, after finding that out, I was gonna drop the series because I don't like step-sibling tropes. Having characters playing for step-siblings is weird to me, and I was gonna drop it. But that same day, I had bought volume 1 and 2. So I was like, might as well read it. So I did. And I'm kind of happy I kept reading. And the whole thing of having feelings for a step-sibling got better, I think. Let me explain. Rio tells Yuna that the day he planned to confess his feelings to Akari was the day they found out that their parents were getting married. Honestly, that made me feel bad for Rio, because he has to pretend to be happy for his parents because that's what we have to do. But he also has to fake not feeling anything for Akari and shun himself. And this, you can move on. And it's honestly not healthy. And I did feel bad for Rio. And I kept reading. And after having this confession to Yuna and telling her how much it hurt, Rio tells her that if she can talk to her crush, then she should go and tell him how she feels. And Yuna feeling bad for Rio that he couldn't do it, she musters all the courage she has and confesses her feelings to Rio. Honestly, I was screaming, and I was kind of shocked that someone so shy like her was able to muster up courage and confess. But I love this scene so much because what follows after was honestly really badass with Yuna. Yuna tells him, "Now reject me." Because she knows that Rio won't be able to move on from these feelings anytime soon if he's not able to say them out loud. And Yuna, not wanting to be caught in this and just wanting to be there for her friend, she wants to get rejected so she can move on with her life. And honestly, I could never do that. And it's just a scene that is just so good, and honestly something that maybe we should all do. Take risks, because even if we're not in the same situation as Yuna, maybe we can have a good outcome out of it. On the other hand, we have Akari, who has started to hang out with Yuna's childhood friend Inu, and she's slowly discovering that she likes this boy. His sweetness, his really openness. She just finds this very attractive. Until the manga lost me. Because when Rio and Akari were having an argument, I would say, Rio decided that it'd be a good idea to kiss her. And I was lost. I was going to drop this because I felt like this story just kept bringing up them being step-siblings and having feelings for each other, and it's something I don't like. It's like me not liking NTR and those types of tropes. That is something that I don't like. That's why I started watching Vampire Night, and then I realized there were incest and I completely dropped the show because I was like, yuck. But I was already down the rabbit hole, and I thought that maybe it got better. I was hoping. I kept reading the manga, and I'm happy to report that it does get better. We explore healthy love rivalries, confronting unsolved feelings, and in the story, Rio does end up moving away from his feelings. And the way he does is he's able to talk them out with Yuna. And eventually, Rio ends up falling for Yuna, which I found that really cute because Yuna, even though she still kept having feelings for Rio, she set boundaries and only talked to him as a friend. Even though Yuna still had feelings, she respected that Rio did not, so she stepped back a little and talked to him as a friend, and maybe that's what made Rio fall for Yuna. Yuna and Rio end up dating, and it's the cutest thing in the world. It's like when you first start dating and you're all blushy and shy, and everything they do, you're just red and blushing. Also, Aki and Inu do end up dating, and it's really cute because their relationship is based on supporting a friend and telling them that they should go and chase their dreams, no matter what other people think or say, which honestly, it's one of the best things that a relationship can be based on. Something that I really liked about this manga, not only about the way relationships are presented, but the fact that they didn't stick on step-siblings having feelings for each other. Because I don't like that. I thought that that would ruin the story, and when I read that, I got really sad that my first manga was something like that. But honestly, it got better, and we kind of stepped away from that and focused more on Akari and Rio being siblings, like they should be. This book is also about not only love and facing stuff, but about maturing and growing as a person. Our characters grow and their ideologies start to change. And it's really sweet to see. And we can see this in one of the examples with Inu. Inu wants to study film, but Inu's dad doesn't want him to because he thinks that film isn't a real career. But Inu matures and grows and tells his dad that he doesn't care, that he doesn't want him to, that it's his life and he's gonna pursue his dream and aspirations. And I cry in the scene because it's something magical when someone finally takes that step and tells people that they're not gonna listen to what they have to say about them or what they want them to be, that they're gonna follow their own dreams and aspirations. And that's something that some of us learn later into life. I like this book too because the romance is there, but the lessons are also there that mean a lot and go a long way, and things that honestly we need to learn about growing, maturing, facing stuff that we're scared to face. And that's why I like this manga a lot, and it holds a special place in my heart, even though it has the weird sibling trope at the beginning, but it later fades away in the manga. Honestly, I'm very surprised that I got attached and kept reading a book like this, because it isn't something that I would read specifically because of the step-sibling trope. I just use step-sibling incest and I don't even bother to read anything because yuck. Again, I'm not finished reading the manga because English volumes still don't come out yet. So I'm honestly excited to see where this manga goes, because it's from one of my favorite authors, Ayo Sakisaka, and she's also the creator of Oharu Ride, or Both Spring, which that book, it made me cry. This manga does have an anime, it's a movie, but I don't think it does justice to it. It's very fast paced and it's bland, but that's for a different video. But I would say I would recommend you reading this manga if you can get past the step-sibling stuff at the beginning. But it's a really sweet coming of age, I would say, book. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video where I talk about more manga, anime, or whatever I can come up with. So, see you later. Bye! My mug is from the Umbrella Academy's Cha-Cha and Hazel. Look. I got it in Mexico, it's so cute.